Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Mariya. This channel is about spirituality. Please subscribe below so we can be YouTube friends. This video is about the energetic superpowers of dogs. What are the special abilities that your dog has? And how are dogs special compared to other animals? What are the gifts that dogs bring with them when we adopt them into our families? To all of my dog lovers, to all of my dog mom and dads, this is the video for you. Now, I have done a video about the energy of cats, and one of the most common comments that I've gotten on that video is, what about my dog? What about the dogs? So in this video, I'm spilling the beans, you guys. Dogs are amazing animals. There are so many dog lovers around the world. And when you look at the energy that the dogs bring with them, it is no surprise. I'm going to give you a general overview of what I see that is special about dogs as a species, as a consciousness, right? Why do they come into our lives? And then we're going to dive a little bit into the details of what makes a dog so special, what makes them different from other animals. And perhaps this is also going to give you a glimpse into why you specifically wanted to have a dog, to adopt a dog, and become a dog parent. Like, why are you drawn to this particular animal? When I look at animals, when I look at any creation out there, like any species, any being out there, number one thing that I love to do is go and look at the intention of the species. What is the reason for being? Why are dogs here? Why are cats here? That is my means, my mode of understanding reality. When I tap into why have dogs come to us as a species. And not only that, but you see right now we're probably at an all-time high of how many dogs exist as human pets. So why is there such a proliferation of dogs in the contemporary society? What is it that we're all looking for? So when I look and when I tap into the intention of dogs come in here, into this incarnation to support us, to raise our vibration. So dogs are quite literally raising the energy, the collective human vibration of humanity. How do they do that? How do they accomplish that? Is through their heart space, through loving us unconditionally is how. If you've watched my previous videos, you probably have heard me say that a lot of people vibrate at the solar plexus or below in terms of the chakra theory. So at the level of our belly or below. So at the level of one of the three lower chakras. As we go through our ascension process as a species, humanity is opening up our hearts. That's the fourth chakra, right? Because the energy is always rising. Dogs come here to help open up the heart chakra of humanity. That is why they're here as a species. That is their intention, to help pave the way to open the hearts of each and every single living human. That is their mission. That is their purpose. That is what they are rallying around as a consciousness. That is their service to humanity, is to help us open up our hearts. And the way they do that is they lead by example. They're showing us exactly what it means to love somebody unconditionally. If you own a dog, you know exactly how it feels. They take you as you are. When you become their person, when you become their human, they give all of their love to you 24/7, no matter what. And for a lot of people, this is the only way that in this current time space reality, they can experience unconditional love. This is the only way that they can literally fill up their love vessel. Inside of our energy bodies, inside of our emotional bodies, we have pockets, so to say. And these pockets, some pockets would forever remain empty because they can only be filled with one kind of vibration. All of us require closeness. All of us require community. And one of the greatest needs of human beings is to be loved. Because we remember oneness as a concept very much in our subconscious level. We remember what it feels like to not feel separate. Or at least at soul level you do. And so we tend to crave that experience. And we really need closeness. We need camaraderie, so much more so than we're willing to admit. And for some of us, the best way to experience that is through establishing a relationship with a dog, adopting a dog, having a dog, because their energies of this unconditional love are the energies that can really fill up those empty pockets that can only be filled up with unconditional love inside of our bodies. That if it wasn't for a dog that was loving us in that way, those may remain quite empty. So dogs are here to raise our vibrations, right? From the solar plexus up, opening up our heart space in order to experience love, because you would notice also with time, your relationship with your dog often deepens. Now, take this with a grain of salt, because what I do see so often is that you may have your dog that is literally like that has been your dog for so many lifetimes, and they're literally like your most loyal friend. And the moment you look at them in that pet store or like in the adoption clinic or wherever you saw them for the first time, you look at them in the eyes, and that's instant recognition. You're like, oh my God, you're mine. Like, I know you. And it's because you remember having that dog. Like, that dog most likely has already been your dog in many other lifetimes. So there's a lot of loyalty in dogs. I don't see that in any other animal. I don't see that in cats. Very often with cats, even if you have a sacred contract with a cat, it's the first time that she's your cat. In this lifetime. Dogs, though, there's a lot of consistency. So it's almost like a dog adopts a human. And not the other way around. I said that right. And then the dog is going to oversee you for multiple lifetimes, every single lifetime, opening your heart to love a little bit more. So cracking that door open and then widening that gap so the flow of love can stream into your life. Another thing that I see about dogs is they're very often loyal to lineages. So literally, there are some dogs that just come into a particular lineage over and over and over and over again. It's almost like the grandpa had the same dog, and then the grandson is going to have the same dog. Now, the dogs may have different bodies, but it's that stream of consciousness. It's the soul that almost like keeps coming back, which is really, really special. So in many ways, dogs are very attached to like the entire family, to the entire lineage, right? Not just to you. And they come to heal a lineage, right? Not just you in particular, not just your heart. So they're really very much in service of humanity, and they're because of how loyal they are, incarnation through incarnation, like lifetime after lifetime, it's almost like they inspire that same loyalty back. They inspire that same depth of feeling back. And especially, I live in the United States, right? So in this country, people are very serious about their dogs. And, some comedians would make jokes that some people treat their dogs the way that they would treat a child. And to be honest, though, I'm not surprised, because after this dog has been coming into your lineage for so many lifetimes, he or she, like, it just feels like a part of your family, because it is. So again, a lot of loyalty. What do dogs do outside of helping you raise your vibration, opening up your heart? Dogs are intrinsically connected to your emotional body. So the cat's intrinsically connected to your energy body, right? Just want to draw that distinction. Dogs are intrinsically connected to your emotions, which means that your dog knows the kind of mood you're in better than you know yourself, kind of. They really know you. They understand your emotional range. They would know if you're upset. They would know if you're angry. They would know if you're unhappy. Like, they are scanning you kind of at almost like at all times. The reason being is because dogs are extremely adept at healing your emotional body. In other words, they can read your emotions, and if they are overpowering, the dog can take that emotion, especially a negative emotion, literally outside of your emotional body into their emotional body for processing. That is why dogs are such fantastic emotional support animals. They literally do heal your emotions. That is why very often if a person is experiencing grief or loss or extreme level of sadness or depression, there are stories where they say, oh, my dog has really saved me. My dog has really helped me climb back up from this depressing state. And it's not just something that people make up. It actually is very real. So the energy level, you always see this exchange of emotions between a dog and the dog's owner. And very often, like I said, the dog is going to siphon your negative emotions, and you would notice that it becomes easier to breathe potentially, and just things just clear up. And so, yeah, dogs are heart healers, technically, right? Because they come actually with their hearts burst like wide open, which for an animal is very unique and extraordinary. It's and especially with a domesticated animal, an open heart like a dog's is very hard to come by. I would say like that the next one, next to the dog would be a horse in terms of how open their heart space is to the emotional suffering of humans. It's just that presence. The dog really brings the presence, and again, that healing. I've yet to meet a dog that would witness their human suffering, like their owner's suffering, and would not want to participate and alleviate that suffering. When the dog is in, the dog's all in. That being said, right, there's another challenge with the dogs. Dogs, just like cats, can voluntarily choose to adopt your illness into their body, to take the illness from outside of your body into their body. It has been, it happens all the time. Very often, if the dog is sick, it's because the dog has absorbed something from one of the family members. The dogs are extremely attuned to children in the family, and they're actually even more prone to taking illnesses from little kids in your family, especially newborns or children under like 5-7 years old. That like the dog is extremely protective of those babies in the family, of those children, and they're extremely prone to providing extra care, like whether it's emotional care for that baby, for that child, or it's like physical well-being. The dog is very attuned to the physical well-being of your child. And like I said, they may take away the illness from the child or another family member that's really sick. Unfortunately, just like with cats, sometimes the dog is so sick that the dog doesn't make it on the other side. But like, make no mistake, when that happens, it's very much a service, like a sacred service of the animal. And like, it's literally their way of showing you their unconditional love. There is another thing about dogs that's very, very special. Because the dogs are very much connected to the lineage, it's funny. They literally come into your lineage, like I said, right? Like, despite the fact that they're not human, and usually like, if I look at a family tree, it's all just humans. But like they're the only animal I would see on a family, well, two animals I actually see on family trees. I see dogs and I do see horses. No cats are ever attached to a family tree, you guys. But the dogs really are, and that's beautiful. And what does that mean? That means that the dogs are intrinsically connected to your ancestors. In other words, and some people actually report that, if you feel like, I don't know, your relative passed away and you somehow feel their presence through your dog, or maybe, I don't know, like a very close relative of you passed away and then you adopt a dog and you feel like they have the same exact personality like your deceased relative, it is because dogs are extremely tuned in and connected to your family tree. And not only that, but I've actually seen this interesting concept where like part of the stream of consciousness, like part of the soul of that dog could actually be the soul of a living of like a deceased relative. Let me try to explain myself a little bit differently. So what I mean by that, let's say, I don't know, it was a grandfather that passed away. Maybe the grandfather is not going to come into a lineage for 3 generations, but the grandfather may choose to come back as a dog to support the grandchild, to support the son or whomever on a particular mission to help open that person's hearts and raise their vibration and just be a companion, frankly. The energy allowed or the energy required for that is less than, the energy required for like a full-on human incarnation. And so very often dogs again, could either like be a full-on embodiment and incarnation of somebody in your lineage, or they can temporarily choose to be vessels for your relatives that have passed on, and that enables them to bring comfort to you. And again, that is why dogs are extremely, extremely helpful if you're going through grief or through loss of a loved one, because they can be that conduit. They can be the portal to help connect you to the energies of the person that has passed on. And this is, again, a service that dogs do very voluntarily. They're not being possessed by like a ghost. No, they literally become this vessel, the conduit that can be like can temporarily house the energy of the relative that has passed on in order to comfort you. So dogs are very, very special like that. Another thing worth noting is dogs are attuned to energy, not just emotions. And they are obviously a protector species. We know that a lot of people get a dog because they want their house protected. But it's actually really interesting. So the love of a dog, the unconditional love of a dog, forms an energy barrier around your auric field. It's like a little shield. Well, it's not a little shield. It's actually a big shield. And depending on how close your relationship with that dog is, the thickness of that shield can also vary. So with people that have like a really close relationship with their dogs, those shields are impenetrable. They are just so thick and strong. And because of that, those shields actually act as energy protectors for all kind of parasitic entities. I'm talking energy parasites, of course, or all kinds of, outside influences. So dogs, just like cats, are attuned to energies, not to the same degree. Dogs don't have the same, they can't quite go to the same level of range. They don't have the same range of perception of non-physical beings. They have like a narrower spectrum of things that they can see and notice. That being said, irrespective of who may want to attach themselves to you in a negative way, if you have a loving dog that really thinks of you as their human, that, they're responsible for protecting and the human that they love, you are going to be walking in like a, armored by their love with that protective shield around you. So yeah, dogs take protecting their humans very, very, very seriously. What else about dogs? I mean, they are another thing which is kind of similar to what I said, but not really. Dogs are this endless flow of love. And one thing that they offer is that exchange of this loving energy 24/7. They're always happy to see you. They're never in a bad mood. They're never grumpy. If you are their human. And that is like the balm to an aching soul. So that constant exchange, that flow of unconditional love is how the presence of the dog is in and of itself extremely, extremely healing. Yeah, dogs are beautiful animals. If you're a dog lover, I can totally see why. If you've been drawn to dogs, it is, it could be a sign that a dog just belongs to your lineage, like meaning there's like a dog in your lineage, that maybe there are multiple dogs that have been curating your lineage, that have been on the mission to help your lineage evolve. And so you may just be feeling that calling to, reunite with that. If you're craving a dog, if you really want a dog, it could be because subconsciously your body remembers that the dog will help you raise your vibration, open your heart to love. Maybe you just need a companion. And dogs are such amazing companions. And again, the amount of emotional healing that a dog can do is really hard to overestimate. I'm coming up short. I'm scanning the collective, but I'm coming up short to find any other animal that can do the emotional healing quite as well as dogs do. There are some bird species that can do that have that capacity. And then there are some dolphins have that ability, and so do whales. But human beings are really not in touch with either the dolphins or the whales to the extent that they are with the dogs. And so cherish your dogs. Love your dogs, because the more you invest in them, the more you share your love with them, the more love comes back to you. And it almost like always comes back tenfold. So build those relationships. Know that that dog is going to be in your lineage for a while. And feel free to use your dog as a conduit to connect with a relative that has passed on. And it's literally like a heart-to-heart connection. You can imagine connecting your heart to the heart of your animal, to the heart of your dog. And you can imagine almost like a figure eight that brings you closer together, like one loop of the figure eight loops around the heart of your dog, and the other one loops around yours. And that is how you can experience a true heart-to-heart connection. And through that, you can even telepathically talk to your dog, not just like physically with your words, but like the dog has the capacity to understand your telepathic communication as well. But you can also ask your dog to serve as a conduit between you and a relative that has passed on, and at least feel their presence and like be in their energy. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments what has resonated. If you have been sensing, a special connection with your dog, and if you've already felt the confirmation of my words, I would love to hear your wonderful stories. Big virtual hug to you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.